I would like to read this following statement on behalf of the Elders Board. And besides this recording, we will post this letter online as well, so you can read it again if you like. Anyway, the statement has to do with us as a church moving into the fall and winter months during this pandemic. Acts 2, verses 42 to 47 describes a thriving early church where believers devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to the fellowship, to the breaking of bread and to prayer. God was working miracles. The believers were meeting daily in the temple courts, and not a day went by without new people turning to Jesus. The church was beginning to accomplish the Great Commission by making disciples in Jerusalem. But then trouble arose. In Acts chapter 8, we see that a great persecution broke out against the church in Jerusalem. The result was that a church that had met daily in the temple courts was now being scattered. However, what Satan intended for evil, God worked for good. As people fled the persecution, they brought their faith with them, and the church began to spread. The Great Commission continued to be accomplished. Now, though this statement is prepared to address the future of Emmanuel Church in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, we start the statement with this perspective because it shows what God can do in the midst of difficult circumstances if His people are willing to face the challenges. Now, what follows include the decisions made by the elders regarding the way forward, as well as the reasons for these decisions. Please know that much prayer has gone into this. The elders of Emmanuel Church strongly believe that we should not be meeting in large groups during a pandemic. There are a number of reasons for this, including many of our people are rightfully cautious and will not attend in-person services. We are a multi-generational church and our children will be going to school this fall, increasing the risk of contagion. Our building has poor ventilation. Wearing a face mask for the duration of the service as well as the social distancing now required takes away from the in-person experience. There can be no visiting after the service under current restrictions, and fellowship has traditionally been a significant reason for gathering in person. But most importantly, under the current circumstances, we believe that the worship service will not adequately accomplish the most important mandate of the church, that of making disciples. Discipleship is most effectively accomplished in small groups. In fact, an argument can be made that in the past, we have put too much emphasis on the public worship service, even though historically the church has been the most effective when it could not meet in large groups. Considering these points, the elders strongly believe that our main focus this fall and winter must be on small group discipleship. Meeting, online or in person, in small groups will provide the setting for participants to know, grow, and show Christ in an increasing manner while limiting any spread of virus. Participation in small groups will fill the human need of community far better than a worship service with a face mask. And it will set us up to provide care for each other, especially in case of another lockdown. In addition, we will continue to produce pre-recorded worship services that will be streamed and posted online. We will continue to open the doors to the church building for people to watch the service there. And we will continue to encourage people to gather for worship in each other's homes. This last point is proving extremely encouraging and beneficial to those who are meeting together on Sunday morning. This leaves really one major concern. How do we do church for families with young children? In the absence of effective children's ministries, how do we support parents in raising their children in the ways of the Lord? Which, by the way, we promise to do each time a child is dedicated. Although the details still have to be worked out, the thought is to produce a weekly, what you might call family service, that is highly interactive and entirely focused on discipling both the parents and the children. These services will be intended to be watched and worked through at home. But it is our hope that we can offer what you might call surrogate grandparents to help families thrive in this setting. This way, our families too will be able to gather with other believers and continue to grow during a pandemic. In closing, as the elders discussed the challenges and possible solution, a picture emerged. In it, the Sunday morning worship service was seen as the icing on the cake. But we recognize that if we can't have the icing, we can still have the cake. Now, believe me, I like icing. I like the icing even in this word picture. I very much miss gathering for worship as a group. That said, the cake, the actual interactive discipleship, is still very much available to us. In fact, I strongly believe that small groups will effectively break the isolation that so many of us have been suffering from. And so I strongly encourage each of you, for your benefit and for the benefit of your Christian brother or sister, to have an open mind about this, to engage small group church this fall and winter. We look forward to sharing more details about all this as they become available. As always, your elders board serves you, loves you, and loves to hear from you. God bless.